this tutorial, we are going to review how to mask textures into objects, specifically typography for this one, and create effects similar to this or this, really simply just using basic layer masking in Photoshop. So I'm going to go to Illustrator. I've created some typography that is bold, so it will hold some of these effects and you can still see the letter forms. So I'm going to copy this, Command C, and I also have this smoke file open in Photoshop, and I'm going to use these smoke textures to put into the type. But first I'm going to just copy this into this file for now. Command V, paste as a smart object, and I'll just size it up a little bit and hit enter to apply the change, and then I'm going to hide that. As we know, with channels, you can go into channels and make selections of the background, selections of these fine details like smoke. But before I do that, I'm actually just going to go into change the color mode, image mode, and change the CMYK. I'm not going to flatten, I'm not going to rasterize, and I'm going to Command Shift S, save as, and I'm just going to name this my working document, whatever you want. So now I'm going to go back to channels, and you can see it's changed now that I converted to CMYK. But to make a selection using channels, I just hold Command and click in the thumbnail, much like any other selection I want to make. Command and click in the thumbnail, and then it will select. In this case, in CMYK, it's selecting the smoke. I'm going to create a new layer and fill it with white. So white is my background color now, so Command Delete will fill it with my background color. Command D to deselect, and I'm going to create a new layer below it and fill that with black and hide the original thing. So you can see I have this smoke layer here, and if I move it around, you can see, and it doesn't matter what color I change my background, it picked up all that fine detail in the smoke. So we already are familiar with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate each one of these smoke things. So I'm just going to use my lasso tool quickly, and I'm going to start with this original one. I'm actually going to duplicate it because, you know, non-destructive editing and all. And I'm going to transform it, Command T, and, you know, just scale it. If you hold the Option key and click while you're transforming, that will create a center point anywhere you click in that center point. And then I am going to use my type, and I'm going to make selection of the type. It's hidden under here, you know, but I can turn that on so you can see. And I'm just going to make a selection there and mask this smoke, and easily like that we have a pretty good, you know, smoke texture in this type. I can unlink it and move it around if I want to get it to, you know, that E to read a little bit more, and I can still transform this, you know, Command T. You can't really see the binding box of this, but it's there. But you know, when you can't see it, again, I'm going to Option click to do a center point. You can use these sliders up here to scale, you know, so if I want to just scale that a little bit more. And so now I can go to this mask and I can use my brush tool, B, and I'm just going to use a soft edge brush. So Shift and the bracket left makes it softer. Shift and bracket right makes it more precise if you want to do the opposite. I'm just going to soft brush white, and again, D for default colors will get the white to be your foreground color. If you had black as your foreground color, you could hit X. And then, you know, you just can kind of pick spots in this smoke to kind of, you know, just bring in more of that smoke texture. You know, whatever, however you feel like doing it. You know, you could try different things and see what you like, but that's basically the gist of it. You can play around with it. You can always Command Z anything you don't like, and if you ever want to go back and edit some of these, I can make that selection of that smoke type again, Command Shift I, and then just paint black, you know, switching black to my foreground color, and I can paint black in some of these areas if I want to pick that edge. And, you know, Command H will hide the selection or whatever, so you can go and you can, you know, start adding back to your type if that's what you want to do. Okay, so that's pretty simple and easy. And then we're going to do water next. So I'm going to hide this, and you can save that. But now I have my water background here. I'm going to use my quick selection tool just to wand out this background here. I'll double click on this background layer to create a layer out of it, and I'm just going to use my wand tool, my quick selection tool rather. So that's W or Shift W to toggle to it, and then that's good. You can use select and mask to refine this, but for this purpose it's not a big deal. And I am going to mask that part out, and then I'm going to go bring this type in here, and I am going to create a new layer below this first and just put a color there so we can see what's going on. And I'm going to make this a smart object, so that mask will be nested into it. So right click or control click on that layer, smart object, Command V, paste as a smart object, and now I have my type in here, and I'm going to move it up. And you can, again, there's all different things you can do to kind of see how the thing's going to affect that actual layer. So, if I do something like that, you can see there's like that water interacting with the edge of it, but I could still see kind of the shapes of the typography. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a folder with this and just put this type in it. So I'm going to create a folder. I'm going to mask it with this shape here. Go on that folder. So command clicking on that to select it. Click on the folder. Put that around the, put that mask on the folder. I'm going to hide this, and then I'm going to command bracket right to move that inside the folder. And you can see simply I have created that water inside, and I can just move it, nudge it with the move tool up and down if I want to see a little bit more of the letter forms. But again, just masking this water into this water typography, and as simple as that. And I can move this around. Now I can move this group around, and that will keep the image in it. And that's it. So just the simplest ways to create texture in typography or objects, any objects that you want, using masking.